And we're back with Couch Surfing, man. It's been a minute, right?
It's been a minute. We're glad to see everybody who came back. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your support. We really do appreciate it. We are doing our best to try and be like consistent with all this. And, you know, it gets difficult with how much is on our plate, right? We're both working. We're both
Expanding ourselves.
We're working not only like for me, I work on so many personal projects along with working at a job, and then on top of that, trying to go through school, which I still have no idea which direction I'm trying to go with that. So
School itself is just a whole other problem. I'm just glad that I don't have to look at it. But yeah, we've just been trying to do our best as being human beings. And now that we're back, we're going to do things a little differently from now on. And one of those things is we're going to do segments. This is our first ever segment.
So it's still Maui Waffles, it's still couch surfing, but we're gonna like expand the. We're literally gonna jump out the box. That's what this segment's called. It's just out of the box thinking. We call it out of the box, but we think we know a lot about topics. We have a lot of speculation for sure.
Yeah.
Right? It's good to have different perspectives on things. So let's get ours on like whatever topic that we want to drop in on, right?
Right. And with further ado, this is out of the box science. We're going to talk about what we believe science is like and
just
how
like
it
how
works.
we speculated, our perspectives, and like maybe things that maybe people haven't even thought about in certain aspects, right?
Like the whole idea behind having that dumb guy. The dumb guy that works in the
that's thing
office.
is, you have to have someone who's gonna open their mouth and be like, "Hey, I got a question," or "Hey, what about this?" Right? You have to have that person in class, or no one will know, right?
Right.
Until someone's like, I was always that guy, and I got a nickname for it, all the way up until like baseball, right? My coach called me the question because I kept asking so many questions. I just so much curiosity there,
Right.
And I still don't think I know anything, and I always claim that because it's just a disclaimer. I don't want to like, oh, I know what I'm talking about. I never know what I'm talking about. Even when I feel like I do, I put that out there because someone's always gonna know more.
Right.
And at the end of the day, too, if we talk about it in terms of like Socratic method, no one knows nothing. So
my whole thing is like I live for this word. It's the technically word.
That's a technicality.
With technicalities, everyone's right all the time. That was the thing that Neil deGrasse Tyson said. She was like, yeah, remember that whole... I saw an ad once. I never looked at the damn thing. I saw an ad. It's just Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about the truth. There's all these forms of truth, but the thing that stuck with me is the objective truth. Meaning the truth I state, prove what I'm trying to prove, is always right. Always tell the truth.
Right.
And with that, that's out of the box science today.
And this is actually Maui.
And waffles.
And this is still couch surfing. Let's get into it. How did we get even to this idea of science?
So I told you about the project I've been working on. I took it upon myself to learn what I like to say as, for reasons, the best, Google Cloud ever being made. Yes, English. But no, I've been looking into Google Cloud and their services and how to use them. Honestly, if you're a programmer, it's a great thing to have, in your back pocket. It's something to learn, something you have in the back of your head.
So Google Cloud, is that something like a GitHub or like what? Can you go into any further details on
it's
the
like,
idea of it?
So the idea is there's all this, Google Cloud has all this memory storage in these data centers. And with all the data and all this knowledge they have, there's data that you need to find because it's personal and, I need to buy it from someone.
Right.
Or there's just all that random data that everybody gives you randomly. Think of it. Anything you post on Instagram, regardless, any word you state in any tiny video on TikTok or Instagram, whatever, some program out there can pick it up, hear it, and go, this person is like this. And that's what Google Cloud does. So effectively, it gives you a full platform to do whatever you want. You have operating systems, you can create websites, firewalls, virtual machines. They have this way of organizing it where they, use buckets, and it's in those buckets there's categories depending on what region of all these things. It's a lot, but during all that, I learned a lot, and it's great. But what really took us there is I told you about how it's all kind of out there right now. We were talking about how companies everywhere want to get to the future. They want to talk about technologies that we don't have yet, and they want to create platforms to eventually build these technologies on.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like, what's the next big thing? Right? So like, and I just started getting back into social medias, or all these like networking stuff, right? So like LinkedIn, for instance, right? I've seen some people who are like listed as like audio code, like they're working in audio code. I don't know what that is. I have an idea of what I think it is. I have no idea.
Right.
But like, I've never heard of that before. I brought it up to a bunch of people, and they're like, oh, like I could kind of piece the pieces together and assume what it is, but I have no idea if that was a real thing now.
Yeah.
It's weird because, like, for me, what I think audio code is, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but like, right. So like for us right now, we're talking into mics, right?
Yeah.
It's coming through these cords, going down, and it's entering a mixer, and then it goes from the mixer to the tablet, right, or to your laptop.
Right.
So someone has to be able to code something to actually work in conjunction, right, where it goes from this, it collects our voice, it collects the sounds we make based off the shape, design of the microphones and whatnot, enters in, and then through the mixer, right, cleans it up into whatever setting we have it at. From there, then we go to how does it go from that, and then how do we translate it into code that the computer can make? I'm thinking that's what
I mean, I completely agree with you there. I don't know anything about audio code, and I'll tell you what, it's obviously has to do something with sound,
definitely.
and programming. Because let's just think about this for a moment. That's like all sound. Sound has always been something so weird to me because the idea behind it is so stupid to me.
Let's hear it, because I can elaborate. All
right, a long time ago, our friend Chris, he said these words to me, and they fucked me up from that point on. He was like, "Check it out, Kendall. Sound and thoughts have no form, no shape, no mass, nothing.
What's wrong?
They don't exist. What is sound? Is wave. It's just vibrating.
Yes.
Right,
But that's light.
but
So it's light.
is it light? Is it light though? So I open my mouth and light comes out. so like I'm a sun.
Well, light travels, right? So no matter what, light is always traveling.
Yeah, but
So-
a photon has mass.
Okay. So then I guess sound must have mass, right?
No, but that's
to a
like,
certain degree.
okay.
Again,
that's what
this is what out of the box thinking is, guys. We have no idea, but we are speculating what we can generalize, right? Based on what we've known previously, and
Right.
try to fit pieces together. They might not fit. Most of the time, they probably won't fit, but at least it opens up minds, right?
Okay, wait. I want to hear your idea behind it. Continue.
So sound. So I mean, like I've dealt with that. So like for music, right? Everyone's tuned to the key, or a lot of people, right? The most popular tuning for music, especially pop music or music that's nowadays, 440, right? A440. That's the hertz, right? The frequency it's at, right? But you can always tune music to a different frequency, right? So if there are different frequencies, and that means there's different ways that people can understand sound. There must be some form of translation there missed between 440 hertz to 432 hertz, right? So how do we bridge that gap to where we can translate 432 to 440, or like 528 to 440 to 430, right? How do we do that, right? With wavelengths and sound, right? Because that's how sound travels, like a sine, cosine,
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I mean, how does sound come out of your throat, right? Like, how do you produce sound? First, you need air in your lungs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So actually, I had a conversation a long time ago with a friend of mine in Arizona. We share the same name. But he was a mentor to me. And he was like, and he told me something that, same thing like you, was like a mind fuck in a way. But he was like, if you can't control your breathing, you would never be able to learn how to talk.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because of, right? Like for my dogs and cats, for instance. My dog, you hold its nose. I never do this. But if you did, right, it would panic because it doesn't know how to hold its breath, right?
Right.
It just freaks out. So, if you were able to teach a dog how to hold its breath and like learn how to, find patterns of that, then it would essentially be able to learn how to talk in its own way.
Sort of.
I mean, they communicate, right? But like,
Yeah.
theoretically, it could be possible if we went through that process. Not saying it's like next year technology or next year science, but like maybe one day we can get animals to talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steven. another person who likes to believe that animals have so much intelligence to give.
But that's the thing is, I think some do. I think, dude, I don't mean like in the sense of like they're at our level, right? I mean they're starting to get there. Dolphins are freaking geniuses. We just don't know because they talk on like they communicate at a different frequency. They function on a different level than we do. Even though we're mammals, right? Same with monkeys, right? If we're going into like evolution, right? If we want to throw that into the ring, and a lot of people don't believe it, some people do. It's a toss-up, right? But let's say you do for some reason, or not. Again, I stand neither way on that. Let's say you do, right?
Yeah.
So then, if we evolved from monkeys, right? Why haven't we seen more monkeys evolve into the level of being able to communicate? Like I know they are starting to use tools, but how come they aren't? I mean, maybe it's a thing of like species, right? Like they don't have the need to want to communicate cross species or interspecies communication. So maybe that's the case, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
See, like here's the thing. I look at animals. I'm a very so like a lot of people love animals and they want to give them affection and everything. I am just not that kind of guy.
Well, I agree because I always see it like, oh, I love dogs more than I love humans. It's like I love dogs. I love dogs a lot. And I would probably love my dog more than most humans. I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
But if it was come down to like, would I rather save the human race or the dog race? I'm going human race all day.
Right.
Sorry, but like, I love my dog, but like, humans are way better at this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it benefits me more, even though my dog is pretty much like my emotional support animal. Like at this point, I really should just make him my emotional support animal. But at this point, humans are going to be more of a benefit to me in the long run. And like I said, no offense, if I could keep both, I would. But if I had to get rid of one, I would have to say dogs. As much as people would hate me for that, but I'm team human, man. Sorry.
My whole thing is
I have faith in humanity. Like even though we've had our atrocities and we've had our mishaps all the fucking time, I still have faith that one day humans can get to that level where we're just gonna fucking just break through that ceiling one day and it's just gonna be fucking sunshine and rainbows. Even though it's like not everything's sunshine and rainbows.
I mean, but like, see,
I'm just that hopeful, I guess.
I mean, I understand it, and that's what's great about being people, right? Being a person. Because my whole thing with species and intelligence is this: if we gave monkeys the ability to pilot interdimensional spacecrafts,
we don't even have that technology.
I know we don't. But here's the thing: we're trying to get there, and if we did get there, we'd be like, okay, we got there, and if it just so happened that planet Earth was being destroyed, we'd go ahead and say, all right, go ahead and get a bunch of DNA and genomes of all the other animals around here. We'll figure out cloning on the next planet. We'll bring them back. You know what I mean? We'll still go out there. We'll still go out there. And we'll say, save as much of them as we can. And if we can't save them, bring them back.
Doesn't that sound like Noah's Ark?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right? Noah's Ark. Right. You think a fucking monkey would go ahead with an interdimensional spaceship and go ahead and say, "Oh yeah, we totally need to save the humans." They'd be like, "Fuck you guys, we're out." They'd be like, "Fuck you and fuck this planet, we're gone." That's what any other animal would do.
I mean, you say that, but we would never know because they haven't gotten to this level of because that's the thing with us is we've gotten to the point beyond survival where we can start getting into artful things of thinking philosophically and learning our own history and coming up with sciences, right? Most animals, right? All they're fucking thinking about is just trying to survive.
Right.
What do I need to do to survive tomorrow? If I'm a gazelle, it's just not get eaten by a lion, right?
Right.
If I'm a lion, it's hunt for my meal and then sleep for 14. I think they sleep for 14 to 18 hours. But you know what I mean?
Sounds like life.
It does.
I sleep for 15 hours and I get a phone call. Kendall, where are you? You're supposed to be here.
I mean, any guy would want to live a lion's life, right? Because the women do all the hunting, right? The lionesses do all the hunting. All the men do is just protect their territory. Literally, they just go toe to toe with whoever wants to claim the rock. You know what I mean? This is my spot. If you got a problem with it, we can fight it out. But and then that's becomes the thing. And then all the lionesses are drawn to the apex lion.
Also, and that's the intelligence thing. But and then also, by the way, for those of you who are feeling a little bit lost, that's okay. That's what the whole point of out of the box
Out of
is.
the box thinking.
We
Exactly.
spout nonsense because some of you are gonna listen to this and go, "Fuck Kendall."
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck Kendall. I believe my dog would totally save my life.
Yeah, for sure.
Listen here. Right? I have a dog. I love him more than life. If my dog, our producer over there, I just already know. My dog, I love him so much.
Cat.
What?
That's cat.
That's cat. Okay, first of all, I don't know what that fucking means.
I mean, you're lying.
I'm lying. Okay, I do. I love Shaggy. I love him so much.
When's the
I
last
don't
time you
love him
walked
more
him?
than life. You're right. I don't love my dogs more than life. But the thing is, Shaggy has had the best life. My mom. How many dogs can say this? How many actual dogs can say this? He eats my fucking food, and it's my fault. It's my fault. My mom would look at my dog, or would look at our dog after eating all my food and go, "Kendall, you fucking dumbass. You know he has no willpower. You know he's gonna go for it, and you put it there."
I mean, again, my dog is. I keep on saying he's on the spectrum. You ever meet my dog, you will agree he's on the spectrum. And I love him for it though. He's such a lovable little furball, dude.
Right.
But say he acts so differently, man. I'll give him a piece of food, he'll take it, he'll put it down. He'll be like he'll inspect it for like 30 minutes, and he'll be like, okay, I think it's good to eat now.
Dude, my girlfriend's dog, she's like one of those dogs where I know she's intelligent because she figured out, she lucked out. She moved in, she got adopted by 2 grandparents. And you know when old people, go ahead and say, let's bring a dog into our life. They treat that dog like it's royalty. So she comes around, she's all like, oh, what did you cook for dinner today? And they're like, they're good cooks. So they're like, oh, I cooked this steak with bacon and I put some garlic butter on it and I made sure to douse it in some wine and bullshit. And she looks at her dog food and her dog treats and goes, I don't want that. You and I both know you have leftovers. Put it in my bowl. She is one of those dogs. She has a whole food bowl and she waits until they have dinner that night, and then she waits until they're done, and then they put the fat and like other things into the food, and then she'll dig it out to eat that and go, if you think I'm gonna sit here for a minute and eat that shit. See, that's an intelligent dog, and I still don't think that dog gives a shit about me.
That's how I think about my dog too. 'Cause like I told you the other day, right? We went walking and then I took his leash off, and then when I looked at each other and we raced home and he freaking smoked. And this dog, he's a Shetland sheepdog, so he's like a small lassie, right? Really pretty dog. He's overweight. I just weighed him today, dude. He's 52 pounds. 52 pounds.
That's not every dog
He's
for his
heavy,
size.
right? Dude. Look up Shetland sheepdogs. I guarantee you they don't go as big as 52 pounds.
I don't know how he got that. Okay.
But he doesn't look fat because he's like fluffy. So like,
You're right, yeah.
he's like the Gabriel Iglesias of dogs. He's just big and fluffy. You can't. But for him, you can't tell he's big because you're just like, oh, he probably just has a big coat on.
Right.
But yeah, we raced home and like when we're around the house, he always lips or he fakes his lips, right? He's like, oh, I'm hurt. Oh man. And then that day, literally, we just raced around. Like it was probably like I'd give it like 2 football fields. And he smoked me, dude. He smoked me. I was literally surprised. Like I was in my right running shoes. I'm not gonna make excuses for my loss, but
The point is he
legit
was racing a
burned
dog
me.
and thought he was gonna win. Okay.
Well, it was my dog. That's the thing. Is like if it was like a greyhound or like dogs that actually ran for a living, right? I'm not gonna try, obviously, right? But this dog, I was like, oh, he's my puppy. He's my little son, right? I'm gonna smoke this fool. I'll give him like a second head start, and I let him leave. And I couldn't catch him for the life of me. I thought I would have him like every second. Every time I thought I had him, he just like turned the boosters on one more time.
See, if I was ever gonna race a dog, it would be
Shaggy.
It would be Shaggy. But here's the thing with Shaggy. This is the highest level of intelligence I believe my dog can reach. It's the point where he goes ahead and says, I don't do that. I have a schedule and I have a routine. So until you're ready to come over here and understand that, I'm gonna stand right here. You can come back or you can leave, but I am not running. I'm not erasing your ass. He's like, dude, like my dog. I don't want to believe animals are intelligent, but some of them just kind of go. Some of them just
No,
kind
they
of
take
go.
advantage of your kindness
Right.
in the sense of like they're like, okay, I know that if I just wait here long enough, you're just gonna give me a treat, you know?
Right. If I sit by your chair and give you puppy dog eyes for about an hour, you will give in.
Anyways, let's go back into science. I know this kind of, I mean, that
This
kind of
got
ties
off
in
topic.
a little off topic there, but that's out of the box.
But you know, it kind of gets there, right? But the other thing is, I was looking into this the other day, and I genuinely want to hear your thoughts.
Okay.
So I was talking about this before we started recording. So warp theory.
Explain again. Yes.
Let me explain this to you. The warp theory is this idea, and I can't say the guy's name because, quite frankly, I'm shit with names. It starts with a V. I don't know. This guy went ahead and took Einstein's theory of general relativity, those equations, and said, by these equations, if you took a machine that could shrink space that's in front of you and expand space behind you, the only thing that would really be moving relatively is you. So,
But here's the thing, I already have a problem with that, is like when you talk about space, you have to talk about time too. You can't talk about them exclusively.
you're right. Yeah. And that's where the problems come in. There's two main problems. In order to do this, that would mean that we could put space, right? The infinite vacuum that we all exist in on this rock that's just floating around in the middle of nowhere. You can take that and put it into a negative energy density. We have an idea for how we can solve that. Again, it's another name and a complicated equation that I don't feel like reading. But we have an idea for that. But the other problem is, if we did actually do this, the reason why they say we can move it faster than light
Yeah.
is because now we're not actually traveling through space. Space is moving us. And that makes us move faster than light. But the moment space starts to move us, and we start moving faster than light due to that, you possibly could enter into a sort of, I don't know what it would be called, but you travel through time. You travel backwards in time.
Quote unquote wormhole, right?
Right.
Because I don't know what. Like everyone always throws that word wormhole around, but it's like, what is? Like, how do they use that word, right?
It's like that's actually really interesting. I don't know anything about wormholes.
But like when I think of wormhole, I just think of like they're just like finding a shortcut. You know what I mean? Like through space time,
Right.
it just shoots them out to. I don't know. Again, they do it in shows and cartoons, so they have like some semblance of science, but at the same time, it's like they just like kind of like slapstick something to the end of it and be like, "This is how it works." So just deal with it because it's a cartoon, right? Don't take it verbatim.
Right. But like, no, because the theory, I'm gonna say some nonsense here, but I think it holds true. So the idea is space itself, right, is always expanding and growing. It's an infinite power that we just don't know how to utilize yet, right? You took,
Oh yeah, dude.
like,
There's a lot of power that we have not been able to utilize, that we should, or that we've tried to, and like still are working the kinks out, right? There's all sorts, right? It's just a matter of who's getting there first and like who has the resources to even experiment, right?
this is simple.
This is some.
But the idea is if you took like a 1 by 1 inch cube of just pure space vacuum, it would just continuously grow as it pulls things into itself. So because it's a vacuum, there's nothing into it, it wants to be filled. So it'll pull things into itself, but because it's space and there's nothing there, right? It'll just continuously keep pulling more space and grow and grow and grow and grow until it finds something to fill that vacuum. Now you get rocks like our rock, and they're like space. They're cool and everything, but built different. You know that's or else Earth would just shatter to a million pieces because space wants to spread out its dust equally amongst itself. But
Actually, now this might get off topic. I'm
course.
sorry for interrupting you on this, and this might get totally off topic. But like, I always thought about this, at least like fairly recently. But like, what came first, philosophy or science?
well, here's the thing. I say science came first. Because you can't have science. You
You
genuinely.
said, I heard science.
Yeah, I said science.
Oh, okay.
A mixture of philosophy and science. Because if you took any guy in history that's like not catastrophic, that's like momentous to philosophy or science, you kind of see the same guy no matter what. If you look at like, who's that guy that invented Newton? What's his first name? Isaac? That's his name.
Sir
Guy-
Isaac Newton.
Yeah, the guy who literally makes my life a living hell because he decided to take it upon himself and figure out gravity, which we still know
But
nothing
he
about.
went mathematics first. So maybe, in my head, like, the way I see it is, like, philosophy is just science without numbers, right?
Mhm.
And to a certain degree, it's science without numbers because they... I mean, there are numbers being involved, but not, like, finite numbers, right? They just go, like, here's a paradox that they have is, like, you know, motion doesn't exist, and how can they prove that? Well, okay, try and get down, like, count from 0 to 1, right? You can count infinitely.
Right.
You can never get there. But you know one's there,
Exactly.
but the gap between is infinite if you want it to be. But at the same time, it can just be as short as that, right? That's one, right?
One. Yep.
Exactly. Or it could be one, right? Whatever you define one as, that's it, one right there.
Right. And that's what I'm trying. But like what I'm saying is, if you look at Isaac Newton, right? He's famous for that great question: why did a fucking apple just fall on my head? That question alone, if you just pluck it out of history and you go, he asked this question and became the greatest man of all time, right? The GOAT of science, right? You go, oh, was he a philosopher? It's not until you take him
He
and you
was
go,
a mathematician, but go ahead.
yeah, right, no, obviously, we know he was a mathematician, but if you just took him and that question and that was his whole image, which to a lot of people it is, he's a philosopher because all he did was go, why did this apple fall on my head? Now, if you get into real deep dumbass philosophy where it's all like, well, maybe it could have fallen on somebody else's head. And if they fell on somebody else's
It's
head.
true though, like,
Right, and
I
that's
knew you were going to go that way, but I was just going to say, like, if I put my foot in this water right here, right now, like that, and I put it in again, did I put it in the same spot? No, like, you can never put your foot in the same river twice, right? Because the river's not the same and your foot's not the same now.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
there's water on my foot, so it's not the same foot.
Right. But on the other hand, and I'm just going to do this because I'm an asshole,
Go for it.
technically, all the water on the planet has always been the same amount of water on the planet.
No, exactly.
So
no, I agree. Because
every time you put
and
your
that's
foot
a
into
that's
a
an
river,
alchemist.
it's the same river.
Alchemist chemistry. That's a chemistry thing, right? Like matter can neither be created nor destroyed. So, you know, if that's the case, then that means everything is reusable to some degree, right?
Actually, about that whole matter cannot be created nor destroyed, I was reading this the other day. Apparently, this is so dumb. Science pisses me off for a variety of reasons. Mainly because it's a bunch of nerds, me included, I'm a nerd, sitting in a room questioning why the fuck things are the way they are without ever being able to go ahead and say, I don't want it to be this way anymore.
I mean, that's like a big debate about like Earth, like flat earthers and round earthers, and there's even another one, middle earthers, right? Because it's like, okay,
Or
like
hollow earthers.
everyone all has their evidence, right? It's just, do you want to digest those evidences?
Except flat earthers. Flat earthers, go fuck yourself.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was
But
gonna
that
say-
is dumb. Yeah.
I mean, you can talk to my roommate. I mean, in the sense, like he doesn't. I don't
Benny-
know. Where,
Benny-
No. I don't know where he stands on it, but okay. Here's the thing: is have you done your research on flat Earth, though?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Though? Because if you did enough research on flat Earth, you wouldn't just go outright and say "fuck flat Earth." You would actually be like, they have some valid points, and at the same time, I could denounce some of their points as well.
Right, but the whole process between flat earthers, and I'm gonna say this just like it's, because if you are a flat earther and you're watching this, I don't care.
I know you don't, but that's the thing.
I'm not
I mean,
talking
I
to
don't
you, though.
care
I'm talking
anyways
to them.
either. I know you do. I don't care either, but I just like to defend points because, like,
No,
they're-
you should.
all points are valid if you want it to be, in
But
my opinion.
if you look at the research done for flat Earth, the whole point of their research is they take research that is done that proved Earth was round, and then try to disprove that, right? To
So
say
that's
it's
the
flat.
whole point of things, right? People try to do that with Newtonian laws. People try to do that with evolution, right?
Right, but you have to.
You have to
but
start
they're-
with a premise before you can even denounce something,
But
right?
they're flat out ignoring valid theories and about the universe.
Like, well, okay, give me a valid theory about the universe.
Gravity.
I know a lot of people who can like figure like who can surmise a way of saying, oh, gravity doesn't exist,
Right.
right? Because oh, now we have density and buoyancy and this and that. So
But you're never gonna drop an
well,
apple and have it
magnets,
go
right?
up.
What?
You're never gonna be able to drop an apple and have it go up, regardless of if we
Okay,
can't
but what if
prove
I
it
drop the
exists.
balloon, it goes up, right?
But we know why it goes up, because
Why?
helium is less dense than air.
Okay, so is that gravity or density?
That's density.
Okay, so then where does gravity play to factor into that?
The fact is this: if I was made out of helium, yeah, I'd be up in the air. I'm not gonna continuously go up, and eventually make it to space, and then just keep going. I'm gonna make it to space, and gravity's gonna go ahead and say, "Check it out, bro. That's a vacuum up there. There's nothing out there that you are less dense of, so you are stuck to my atmosphere." Doesn't matter if the balloon goes up. You could, if the balloon's going up, and someone shot it,
Okay, but here's
it just comes straight down.
this is where things get really crazy for me because like again I don't neither agree nor disagree with gravity. I keep those standpoints. I always say that, I always preface that, but I like to always poke the bear.
Yeah, no, this is my
So-
Steve. You should know this is my favorite thing. Listening to people genuinely know things, and me not know anything, but know I'm right.
You say that, but I would love the day when you find out you're wrong.
No.
That's the day I look forward to.
No. I know I could be completely wrong.
Yo, 100%.
In my
and
brain,
that's the beauty
I know
of it.
I'm right.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of it, right?
Right.
In your world, right? You're right, and that's cool. But fuck your world for a
Right.
second.
No.
Fuck your world for a second.
Please, fuck my world.
So the Big Bang, right? Have you heard like the full process of the Big Bang and like actual like
The
how
whole class.
a super force and then it splits off and like what was it? Gravity was the first one, and then it became like strong nuclear, weak nuclear, and electromagnetic, and then that one popped off. I don't even understand how that makes any sense.
That I will be real.
Can you explain that one to me? Because when I've read it, I've seen diagrams of it, and every time I look at it, I just can't fathom how one super force just decided to split into four forces.
So
I
here's,
fucking just put a 5 up. So 4 forces.
here's how I like to describe it, right? So take all the electromagnetic energy in the universe and get rid of it. How do you get rid of it? You turn it into heat. So if you look at the Big Bang, in the very beginning it was very dense, and so everything was super hot.
We don't know what happens at the moment of the Big Bang. Everyone can summarize what happens like the instance after.
Right.
But no one can summarize what happens literally at the moment of the quote-unquote Big Bang. Now they're starting to think of it's called a big bounce. So
Yeah.
like it's just like a ball that just
Like everything, yeah. And then it's gonna come back together for some strange reason.
So that, again, that just like makes me think. Okay, so that just means that everything is going to repeat itself. Always. Yeah. Can we break out of that repetition? Okay, back to your.
No, and that is actually, there is a theory that you can't break out of that repetition.
Oh,
I'll get into that.
I mean, I don't need a theory to think that, right? You could just always be that one person that just like deny, and maybe one day you'd be able to do that to break quote unquote fake. But let's get back into the super force.
So the idea, from what I understand, is the idea is when the Big Bang just started happening, like a few seconds after this giant.
Don't even put a time to it. Just say instance.
No. I
'cause-
put a time to it because that's why I hated the class a little bit. They made us calculate. They were like, at what time frame did decoupling take place? And I'm like, what time frame? Motherfucker, we didn't have planets at that time frame. I'm supposed to calculate that shit. Anyway. So in the really early time, right when the Big Bang was just kind of happening, everything was super hot and everything was in its primordial state. Then, if you get the expansion of the Big Bang, things start to cool down. When things start to cool down, they start to come together. And they start to come together and get different forces to take place to make sure that all kind of can work together. Otherwise, if everything shot out, the only way nothing would happen is if every single particle inside the Big Bang stayed as hot as it was and stayed as fast as it was. But that's impossible because, well, I say impossible. Some scientists out there, lo and behold, will probably figure it out. There's always that asshole.
Yeah.
I live for those assholes.
Right.
But yeah, effectively things start getting cooler, and as things cool down, the temperature and the energy from that temperature needed to translate itself into new ways. And then as that kind of happened, you get strong force, electromagnetic force, because all that is still like all that energy that happened is still kind of there, but you know the not wavelength, what is it? The space it can operate at is different, right? If you take like strong force, or is it electromagnetic? No, electromagnetic force has an infinite range, right? One of them does.
See, that's where I get lost. I get lost in the concept of the split, and then I'm just like, I try to finish the rest. I do, I like finish the rest of what I'm reading or what I'm looking into, but I'm always like, that's where my brain like kind of just like pauses at, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's very complicated shit. I don't even get it, and I spent 4 months trying to learn it. Because I don't get, because you're right, I don't understand how we went from.
I don't know how they came up with the idea of, because like, sure, like let's say that we do deal with 4 forces, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how they summarized that. Oh yeah, they were once one force. And what was that force consisting of? Just everything was just a jumble of stuff.
The thing about it, just so like imagine the Big Bang is like a marble, right? Whatever force existed before the 4 forces, right, is what made the Big Bang a marble. And then as the marble started expanding, that force can no longer say, well, I'm just going to stick around. I don't care if you're expanding, because everything it ruled over is now gone.
Yeah.
So it translates into, it spawns off into its children. So this super force affected everything in the universe, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you get the expansion and you get different material in the universe. You get temperatures, you get sound, you get gravity, you get electromagnetism, you get all this shit. The super force just can't say, it's all me, buddy. Put it on my back. Take it to the end of the universe.
Okay, Atlas. All right, let's get into 2 more topics I kind of want to get into.
Your turn.
We could do that.
Your turn.
So the first topic I want to talk about is time.
Okay.
Time is a man-made concept, is it not?
Yeah.
So how do we decide what a second is compared to a minute, compared to... Like, where did we come up with A, these words, B, like how did we decide that 60 seconds equates to a minute?
They taught me this so if you look at the history of time, there's a specific isotope. If you took an atom and or something, a second is how long it takes for a specific atom of an isotope to travel a specific distance.
Was it a travel or was it like the half-life?
It might be the half-life.
Wasn't it the decaying of a half-life?
Yeah, it might be.
Okay, so like, because I know that that's the case, and I know the same for like weights, right? Because like I know that literally the weight of a kilogram is stored like somewhere in like in the Royal British
Museum somewhere.
Yeah, where literally it's an object, right? And so where that object's like weight fluctuates, so does
everything in the
kilogram.
universe.
Yes.
The kilogram.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to think about, because you think about kilogram, you're like, oh, it's just like in American standard, right? That's about 2.2 pounds, right? You're like, okay, so it's solid 2.2 pounds, right? No, that can actually fluctuate. But just like time, right?
Yeah.
Like, because they say the day gets longer, or throughout the year, right? The year gets longer by like very infinitesimally small percent, but it does get longer.
Yeah.
Same with, like I said, weights, because like we're using an object as a comparison, right? So it's just like all these things are man-made. So like, do they even exist if we don't want them to?
And here's what I think.
And if that's the case, then that becomes a thing of like, does time even exist now?
Is he gonna be okay? Looks like he's ready for a scratch roast.
He's a very playful cat. He should be. Anyway.
We have cameras surrounding a pool right now. We're playing a little game of where the cats ruin our lives. Anyway, no, like here's the thing. So
I'll dive to catch that camera if I have to.
No, I'll do it.
I'll do like a football, just straight into that.
Do the whole
to the
thing with
leg.
like on your toes, bent like at a perfect.
Like a like
180.
haiku volleyball, just like
Twist your body like JoJo pose that shit. No, but like, so time into me, because I get it, it's dumb. Because
it's not necessarily dumb. It helps us keep track of things.
Right.
But at the
let's keep
same
our day
time,
organized.
like, relative, right? Everything's, according to Einstein, things are relative. So time itself can also be relative, right?
Because there's just like there's this experiment. So let's say you and I are the only two beings in the whole universe. You have a stopwatch. Okay? Stopwatch that'll never end. So now you at any random point. So okay, so here's how the experiment, the mental experiment's gonna work. You, me, only two times, only two beings in the whole universe.
Sure.
I have never opened my eyes, shown any form that I'm alive yet. Okay? You open your eyes first, you find the stopwatch, you click it whenever you want.
Okay.
Click it, time starts moving forward.
Okay.
Now, given any random amount, give me a number. 6. So you can say 6 seconds after you click that, I open my eyes, I come into life. I ask you, shit, how long have you been here? What do you say?
As long as I have been here, right? Because I don't like. I know 6 seconds, right? But like, to me, I've been here forever, right? Technically.
Technically, yeah. But, so then I go, how long is that?
Exactly.
And you never know. And even if you answer, I've been here a total of 6 seconds. Because even if the moment you wake up and the button's pressed, right?
Yeah.
When you wake up and the button's pressed, and we can say that's when the time started, I'll never know that. Because 6 seconds for you could have been a billion years.
Exactly.
And then I wake up, let's say I wake up in the middle of one of those billion years.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden I'm supposed to go ahead and say, I'm a half second off from the rest of the universe.
Right.
Because if I have my own
Right.
stopwatch and I click that, there's always going to be that discrepancy. Both of us can go ahead and say, but we were both here at the same time. We were both made and put in this place at the same time. You just opened your eyes first. So we're going off of your time frame. But in reality, we should be going off of the time frame of the person who put us here. We'll
Right,
never
who's
fathom
the
that.
observer, right?
Right.
That's it's a huge comic ideology, right? Like, you know, like honestly, like it becomes a thing, right? When you see like Civil War or like what is it, Infinity War, right? Who's observing all of this? Right? There's a camera, right? Like in this world, let's say that world was real. Let's say that whole universe was real, right? Who was able to observe all of this to say, oh yeah, Thanos did snap his fingers and the whole world and like half the population. Who's recounting all of this, right? They actually created concepts of that in Marvel, right? Or oh, it's the observer, right? Oh, he doesn't interfere; he just observes,
Right.
right? Quiet as can be. You can interact with him. Sometimes you don't know he's the observer, but he's always there watching. Someone is, right? Or something, or whatever that conceptual being is watching it. Is keeping track, like a scribe, right? Like the eternal scribe of the universe or multiverse, or whatever verse you wanna.
And I
Continue
if
to
I'm
move.
gonna be real, I have this existential thought
Mhm.
every day.
Which one? Dude, which one? I have them all.
I know, right? so like when you really, that sucks. That's what I hate about like, cause I used to be a very ignorant bitch.
Oh, dude, everyone grows up ignorant. It's like, and this ties into philosophy again. Plato, right? Your whole concept of the idea of time where you had your eyes closed and mine opened first and I hit the stopwatch. That's like the whole concept of the allegory of the cave. You ever read that one?
Oh, I hate
Right?
that one.
So there's 3 people in a cave. They're looking at a wall. One of them escapes, or they see shadows, right? They all can agree on what the shadows are. They can like formulate and imagine what they all are. And like one day, for some reason, one of them escapes, and you know they escape the cave. They come out of the cave and they see what the shadows really are, and it's nothing of what they imagined it to be. The guy goes back into the cave and tries to explain it to the other two, but because they were not able to observe what the third one saw, right? They're gonna deny it all the time, and that becomes a thing of like, okay, so you have our producer over here on my right, I have you on my left, and I'm here. We're all looking at this pool of water, right? But is what we're seeing all the same, right? Am I right? What's this color of the water? You know,
Yeah, that's a
clear?
whole
Is it
other
blue?
thing,
Is
yeah.
it gray? Is it white? Is it? You could be seeing black. I could be seeing white. You know, he could be seeing nothing. It could be like the same with animals, right? Dogs could be like, oh, I don't see anything. If I jump in this, I'm hitting the ground and dying. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. So
That's exactly what I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah.
I fear that our unit, like our whole planet, because if every theory is possibly true, that means the theory that we genuinely are alone in the infinite universe.
can be also true and false at the same time.
Like, we might not be
Right? Because like it depends.
the only thing.
And that's where the idea of, I don't even use Einstein's general relativity or the science of it, just the word itself, relativity, right? In relativity, we are alone in this universe, but at the same time, if you just broaden your horizons, right? No, we're not, because I got Neil, I got my producer to the right, I got you to my left, so now I'm not alone because I see two people.
Right.
And then you can take it a step further and be like, I know I'm not alone because the microphone's here, right? And you can take it even, like, you know what I mean? I know I'm definitely not the only thing alone. It just depends on how relative you want it to be, right?
And like,
I'm the only me though, right? That's what I can say, right? I am the only me that exists that I currently know of.
I mean, and that's really where it all comes down to, is what you're willing to accept
Yeah.
as just your world.
And that's how it goes, right? Like, what do you want to welcome into your world, and what don't you want to welcome into your world in a certain sense? And there's rules to things like that, right? So, like, if you want to live in the United States, here's the list of rules we have for you to be able to live in our society of the USA, right? If you don't like it, then you're gonna have to leave. It's gonna be a bitch and a half. It's doable, and it's gonna suck. But if you really want to leave, and I'm not talking like, I'm talking in general, right? Same with like Japan, right? If I want to be a citizen of Japan, it's possible, but it's gonna be the worst. Not the worst, but it's gonna be an uphill battle all the time, right? That's the thing with anything of wants, right? If you want something, it's always gonna be adversity. It's just how much you want it, right? Are you gonna? It's like, and now we're getting into motivation. I don't know how we got here.
We also probably wrap this up.
Well, I was gonna wrap it up with this motivational thing that ties it up. But like,
Go for it.
in that sense, right, of like adversity, right? Have you ever heard of the hip hop preacher Eric Thomas? It's like one of his most famous motivational speeches. But he talks about a guy goes to the beach, right? He wants to become the best at whatever it is he wants to be the best at. And so he goes to this guru. This guru takes him to the beach, and he goes, "Okay, come with me into the water." And they're wearing full clothes, right? And then he walks into the water, and they keep going deeper and deeper to the point where they're treading, and the guy holds him down, just pretty much just like damn near drowning the guy, right? And he comes up for air. And it was like, that's what you need. Like, that's the kind of drive you want if you want to hit whatever your success level is of whatever dream you're trying to succeed on, right? In the sense of, right, when you're drowning, have you ever had that experience where you're like, all you want is air? All you want to do is just get some breath of air. You fucking just, it happens. I've experienced something very similar where, I mean, not to like the point of like hyper, like I'm like literally like hyperventilating, but I got to the point where I was like, no, like I'm fighting tooth and nail to get air. I don't care what's holding me down. I'm going to kill someone for this air. That's what you kind of have to do if you want to like find your form of success.
I've been there. It sucks.
It sucks. It definitely sucks. And that's what it means, right? That's what the adversity is for. But like if you can get to that point with the success you want, and you can like, it's almost like a nirvana thing, right? Like if you can like stave off everything and you just want to find that enlightenment or success that you're trying to reach, then that becomes, you know, your success, and you will eventually get there. But the moment you like have that like moment of doubt or slip up, that's when it becomes an issue.
Right. I get it.
But
Let's call it there.
that was out of the box. It was very out of the box.
Out of the
Almost
box
like
science and philosophy, sort of.
Almost like we were just opening Pandora's box of our minds right now. Right? A little bit, right? Because like that was, for me at least, that's what it felt like. I'm just like dumping everything I know and feel and sense, and I just drop it on there. Anyways, though, I appreciate y'all for listening and tuning in.
Right. And remember, if you're a flat earther, don't come back.
No,
And-
please do, because, hey, I love you guys, to be honest. But if this is going to YouTube, please like and subscribe. Comment if you have any, like, if you have any comments on how dumb we are, or if you guys agree with any of our topics, please feel
If you
free.
just think that you just listen to idiots talk for what, roughly probably half
Well, I
an
mean,
hour.
people watch Twitch for people who just chat, so maybe we'll turn this into a Twitch
Yeah,
stream.
but we
one
don't
day.
have big tits, unfortunately. Anyway.
Hey,
You do.
oh!
And on that note.
I was gonna say, anyways, this is your boy Maui,
And your boy Waffles.
and this is Couches.
Yeah.
Couch surfing.
Couch Surfing. Peace.